African new energies. That's exactly what we're going to talk about just here tonight at Momentous 2016. We've covered all bases tonight. We've been talking about all sorts of sectors. So this is the one we're going to concentrate on just now. We've got Stephen Larkin just here to tell us all about this company, because African energy, it sounds very exciting. Can you tell us a bit more?
Sure. African energy in many ways is the last frontier in the energy market, for a simple reason that if one looks at the US population, at the European population, you'll get the same number of people in Africa who don't have any electricity. And the reason that we started the company, and perhaps the germ of where it all began, was actually my first day of university, where I was at University of Cape Town, and I happened to come from a really privileged background for which I'm grateful. But my roommate couldn't have come from a more different background. He was the first person in his entire village and province who had ever got beyond secondary school. That was the nature of apartheid. And I asked him what he was most looking forward to, having got to this ivory tower and this beautiful mountain, which was the finest university on the African continent. And he said to me, "Steve, this is the first time in my life that I'm going to be able to study in my room at night." Now, he has gone on to become a global authority on audit systems in gold mines, and he talks all over the world now. And he remains an inspiration to me because he took that light and turned it into a staggeringly successful technocratic career. And I often wonder, what if the other 600 million people got that opportunity? Roll forward 20 years, we got a call from the Namibian government. We had been involved in various energy projects, more on a consultancy and developmental basis in a number of African countries. And we were called by the foreign minister and said, Namibia, which is a very large country physically, it's 3 times the size of the UK, but it's only got a population of that of Birmingham. So it's not densely populated at all. But 60% of their population don't have electricity. And he said, "Can you help us? Can you get those people electricity?" And we originally wanted to do it on solar. However, solar would have taken a year of GDP paying back at 10%, and you would have bankrupted the country. So we said, you've got to find natural gas. Now, they had natural gas offshore. The Kudu field was found in 1974, but they've never been able to develop it because it's not big enough, it's not profitable enough. So I said they had to find natural gas onshore. So we've built a coalition with the community. We're really humbled by the support from the British government, which made us the first ever international oil and gas enterprise investment scheme. So effectively, investors' risk is underwritten by the British government, even though it's a Namibian project. And we were looking for about 60 million barrels of oil equivalent, because that would sort Namibia out for 40 years. So we were allocated a large concession, about 5 million acres. To give you an idea, that's the size of Wales. And then the local people came forward and said, you know, no one's ever asked us, because BP were there, Shell were there, Exxon were there, Total, or Elf in its day, have been there over the decades. It was geologically plausible. But they never asked the local people what they thought. We did, and the local people are important shareholders via 2 community trusts. And they've rewarded us by finding 730 live seeps of oil and gas over 2 million acres. Now, to give you an idea, our largest anomaly is about 50% greater than the size of Purdue Bay, which is the biggest oil and gas find in North American history. There's about 25 billion barrels of oil in place. Now, we have developed an algorithm. I'm a mathematician by training. And it's a fundamentally new way of doing exploration, which I specifically designed to help achieve our vision for giving everybody electricity in Africa. We needed to find natural gas. We needed to find it in environments where very little was known about the geology. So we needed to come up with a fundamentally new way of doing it. So we've developed an algorithm. I'm really humbled by the caliber of scientists that we have working with us. Peter Hutchinson, one of our founders, has found more oil than any other person alive. He's sitting at around about 15 billion barrels at the moment. To give you an idea, BP's at about 8. And so our scientists have found oil 36 times. Now, the next extraordinary piece of luck that we've had is, and this was luck, this wasn't skill, was that South Africa has been let down by its pipeline system. And if you picture South Africa, the Gauteng region, which is where Johannesburg is, it's the real economic heartland of the southern African subcontinent. About 40% of South Africa's GDP goes through it. They cannot get enough oil because the pipelines to the coast are failing. And this solves that problem, which means that we've effectively got $100 oil after tax, whatever the price does, because of that premium. So we are looking to list in 1 year's time.
Okay.
So we are looking for a small amount of money. It's about 75% subscribed already. We've got 400 very supportive investors, and they've indicated they're going to support a rights issue. And we love Momentous events, and it's it really, in my opinion, it's the best group of investors in London. So we want to see if they want to take the last bit.
And it's obviously a perfect opportunity for you, as you just said, because you are looking for investors for that last little slice. What would you say to somebody who is thinking about your company? Obviously, it's something that you can feel good about as well.
Sure. We actually surveyed our investors, and over half of them said that the primary reason they invested in us was that they wanted us to give everybody in Namibia electricity. And many of them liked the tax benefits that the British government has given to encourage investment in this and other companies like it. But this crowd is different, and I particularly like engaging with them because they want to take risk. They're very skilled risk takers. So they want to look at the upside and the downside. Well, our upside potential is simple. At the moment, they can get in at 1 cent a barrel. We strike, goes to $3 while it's still in the ground. So we are successful, they are extremely successful.
Because as I was going to say, investors, primarily what they're looking for is money, opportunity, profits. Is that what they're going to get then?
And how? This is globally unique in a number of ways. Firstly, if one looks at East Africa, which is a really hot play in terms of exploration, I spoke to one of the most respected CEOs in the region, somebody I have extraordinary admiration for, a real oil finder. He said, the problem is we've got an 800-mile candle if we don't heat our pipeline, and we need $10 billion, and we need to go through 4 countries and 3 war zones. With us, once we have struck, we need to build a small receptacle to take the oil. We can put it onto trucks, and we can be revenue positive and profitable within weeks of the strike. Now that just doesn't happen in African frontier exploration. You normally need to get the infrastructure to come to you. Our extraordinary luck is that we don't need any capital to do that.
Okay, we'll leave it there. It's very informative, very interesting listening to you speak as well. Stephen Larkin, thank you very much indeed. Talking about African and new energy today here at Momentous 2016.